Hello, welcome to a Friday version of our live. Let me get this going up here. I should have been more prepared. Hi, I'm Che Guerrero. I'm the social media manager here at First Person Arts. I'm also, run these lives. I know we usually do them on Wednesday, but our guest for today couldn't do Wednesday. But we really want to make sure we talk to her about her episode of Philadelphia Revealed and what it meant to her to go through there and the story she shared. So yeah, let's not waste any time. I want to make sure I talk to her as long as possible. So without further ado, she is the author of Walk Me Through Your Resume, also a frequent storyteller here at First Person Arts, runs a great show every month, but she'll tell us more about it. Without further ado, please give one for Martha Cooney. There, I wish I had an applause thing.
Hi,
Martha,
what's up?
how are you?
Great, it's Friday. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's Friday. It's been a long week. But I don't even mean to be cheesy. Like, I've really enjoyed listening to these podcasts. So like every week has been like, oh, let's see what they're up to this week. And yours was actually one of my favorites because you and I both have a love for like print media, and like just the way we used to be able to get information has changed so much that I really found a little nostalgia. I was like legit like an 8-year-old reading the newspaper, like the New York Post and stuff like that.
Same. Yes, exactly. Like I was like excited to read it every day, and I think I said in the podcast that gateway was the comics, and then it was the sports, and then eventually when I was in high school, it was like harder hitting stuff. But yeah, I loved it.
Is that sort of like where you think your love, not just for like storytelling, but I guess for like the written word, like came from? Because when I hear you tell your stories, I'm like, oh, she wrote this out, and then like I'm like, oh, she picked every word. Like I love the way you use words to like describe the environment or whatever you may be. Like the story when you had to take the bus and got lost in the deep part of town. Like I was following you I was with you on that bus ride.
Thank you. Yes, the detail. Well, yes, I would say I'm primarily like writer is the heart, of all the art that I do. I'm a writer first. Yes, as far as the newspaper, I got to credit my parents with having books in the house. I was lucky enough to have that environment, like, just books and the written word all around us in the house. And that includes the newspaper because they had the subscription. They had the print subscription in the 80s and the 90s. So because of them, it was always there every single day, every single night. And yeah, it definitely helped me further cement the love that I already had of reading. I think actually it really helped me. It really piqued my interest in, I'd say, like nonfiction because,
Right.
It's all like stuff about the world. And that kind of got me even more interested in like what's going on in the city, like sociologically, what's happening, like just that really, the newspaper got me really into kind of thinking about the wider world, which I guess is the point of it. But
yeah. But now I'm gonna envy you because like it's funny because I'm thinking about my childhood. Like I cannot remember one book in the house unless it was a textbook for the kids. But
yes.
we had a ton of VHSs. So for me, like I watch a movie like 8-9 times to figure out how the director got to it. So it's crazy. Like as a kid, the kind of like media you into is like it's sort of informs the passion or the way you follow your passion.
Exactly. And same if, it's for someone, it might be sports, or for someone, it might be music, but it is kind of whatever's around you, then that's, you figure out the world in that way, or you figure out the story of what's around you in that way. Yeah, it's so interesting. Nature, nurture.
It's like my girlfriend's always like, man, like if I give you data, you cannot understand it. But if I tell you a story, you're always like, yeah, I'm all like, tell me a story about how you found the data, like,
Yeah, same, exactly. Oh my God. Like even, I mean, tangent, but like in high school and college, when I had to take like science and math, which is not my thing, facts, whatever, I'm like, I can't do it, but I would just draw comics about the biology facts, like the cells or the meta, whatever, I can't remember. It was the only way that I could be like, how can I connect to this?
That's so funny. In my head, whenever I would have to do like, logarithms where like this number goes here, I would create a dance in my head that the numbers would do. So like I would literally see almost like a waltz in my head of how the numbers had to move.
Oh my
in order
God.
for like the performance to be like ta-da. So I would create a routine for the numbers in my head, and that's how I figured out how to make the numbers move.
That is genius. I wish I had known you. Like, I wish you were in all my math classes, because that would have like clicked for me. You should
Yeah.
do, like, videos as like an educational whatever. I love that. I love that.
I actually never thought about like how to bring that out into like how do you make the number, how do they dance in my head to show people like, look, if they move this way and it's like a little waltz and then this one's got to go like this, you know, like
Yeah. And then people like you and me would be like, okay, I finally understand algebra.
Yeah, and 1, 2, 3. It's just like
That's great. I love that.
oh my God. So when you went to the exhibit, like I guess just that's what is it was your piece, was it almost like an old wagon that they used to deliver newspapers in, right? Was it a big piece, or was it just like what was left over from, I guess, what it used to be?
It was the full wagon, so it's the size of like, a little red wagon. It was a brown wooden wagon from
I was thinking a horse wagon, like a horse. Yeah, like the Wells Fargo bringing the gold. Oh, it was little red. Okay. I got it totally.
That would have been cool if they were like delivering newspapers off the horse wagon. It was more recent than that. I think it was from, I don't want to get the date wrong, but it was from the early 20th century up to like mid 20th century. And yeah, it was a little wooden wagon that the newspaper boys would pull their papers on. I know, so nostalgic. Yeah. It was so cool to see the exhibit and actually like see the wagon in person, because I've been like reading about it, saw a picture, talking about it, whatever, for this whole project. Yeah. And then I got to see it. I'm like, there it is. It's very cool. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I was like kind of thinking like a big thing, because you talk about your brother used to be a paper boy too, and you were like so jealous of him.
Yeah, he on the bicycle. He was on the bike. I think some blocks he walked, but yeah, I was like, I want to be a paper kid, but I wasn't old.
I was like, I lived in New York City, so I thought you could only like live in a cul-de-sac to deliver papers. So I never even looked. I was like, there's no cul-de-sacs around here, so I don't know how to do it.
That's so funny, right? It is such a like, you think of like, a white picket fence, area and whatever. But no, like the twins and the Rose and whatever like are still getting but the paper boy would throw, like they throw the door. So. Yeah.
And I don't know if in the episode I listened to it, you talked about having to deliver phone books. That was your version of feeling like you're delivering important information. I don't know, how did you wind up just leaving the job? I don't know if the end of the episode led to that. So maybe we can give people a little taste of like, I know that it was just that the phone book died, but like how did you like say I'm done with this job?
Yeah, good question, Shay. Good question. Like, at the risk of my reputation of commitment and professionalism, I will say it was like you would just try to pick up as many routes as you want. So I'm sure everyone else did more than one route. But after my first route was completed, I said, I'm not going to do any more. Like, I got something else.
Yeah.
Which, I was like living the Craigslist life.
Gotcha. That's okay.
Yeah,
that's commendable. You finished the one route. You're like, okay, I finished one. I got it out of my system. I was a delivery person, and I'm done.
Exactly. And even that was like, it took me longer than it should have taken to deliver those phone books. I had a little Saturn. Everybody else is like a professional delivery driver with a truck. They're like, why are you even doing this? I'm like, because this is a gig that I'm going to do.
Oh my God! I just pictured that. It was like somebody getting a job at Blockbuster like the last week. You know what I mean? Where like Netflix literally went online. I was like, what?
Yeah, right. And everyone is like, "You guys are still open? Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
Literally, like people were. I'm bringing the books to the door, the phone books to the door, and I prayed that nobody would be there. Like I prayed I could just like leave it on the porch and whatever. But because if somebody was there, they would always be like, "Well, I don't want that."
Yeah.
And I would have to say, well, I have to give it to you because it's my job. I have I have a chart. Like I have to tick you off here.
Was the Yellow Book at one point like funded by the government? Because like, why would you just like? Was that what it was?
I don't know. I think I feel like the one that I delivered felt like it was all ads, like all businesses.
Oh.
So yeah. I think that it was probably funded indirectly by people purchasing ads.
Yeah.
But I remember when we were younger, I don't know what it was like in New York, but in Philly, what used to be called Bella, Pennsylvania, and then it was Bell Atlantic. Like the phone company would actually, I think they put it out.
Oh, okay.
Because it had the name of the phone company on the front of it. So I think this was sort of like a subset later version of the Yellow Book.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I know I'm asking like, but I was just like surprised that like how many ways we still try to get information out to each other. That was the one thing that I loved about it, because like in your episode, they brought in somebody who used to work for the Philadelphia Bulletin. And he said that there was at one point newspapers coming out every hour of the day. And I thought that's ridiculous. But if you think about it, we do go on TikTok I go on pretty much every few hours because I need to catch up. So like, wow, people were putting out newspapers hourly at one point.
I had the exact same reaction. I like re-listened yesterday to the episode, and I first of all, I love that journalist and everything he talked about. But that was the exact thing where I was like, every hour a paper, like that's insane. And then I thought, well, that's what everybody does today with social media. The only difference is like the physical stuff that had to happen to get those papers out, like that it was happening that many times a day. It's just wild.
Going from like outside the city to bring it into the city in a wagon and like all stuff like that. It was just like, wow. But people wanted it every hour, and that makes sense. I mean, now we have like morning news, afternoon news, night news. They also have their TikTok, so they're giving you all day news. It's like, wow, we don't change. We don't change.
Right. And then like before that, I guess, I don't know, like as the printing technology improved over the century, they were able to do that. But before that, I don't know how often they were doing it, but people were like, Benjamin Franklin was printing his whatever.
Yeah.
Press.
And I think I go back like even further of people who just used to shout at the Times Square, and just like some guys like, hey man, I'm the 1 o'clock shouter. You need to please, I'm the 1 o'clock shouter. Okay.
Like, you're in my spot, like get off the crate. Like I gotta get up.
He's getting the torch in the back, like, come on, dude. Like,
Oh, that's so funny. It is like the same thing, you know? And they probably had a reputation. Like some people are like, well, I listen to Che. I don't listen to Martha. Like he has stuff. Like I trust him, you know? Like everyone's brand.
Martha's too much women are witches. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. Conservative for me.
Yeah, right. We're gonna go down to the square in the next village because, like, I think they have more updated stuff.
Yeah, they're a little more progressive when they shout down there.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, Martha. Yes, I'm gonna put people up here where to find your book and everything. And the episode, you can go to WHYY to listen to Philadelphia Revealed. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcast. And remember that the exhibit is going on, I believe, till December, and there are free museum days that you can go to. You can check out everything down here. And we're doing a show as well. I don't know if you can join us that day, but it's September 14th. Alyssa and I are actually doing a live version of the show where we're going to walk around and see how people can find their stories, because we have these stories games there. So we're going to, record people as they find their story. Alyssa and I are going to find our story, and then we're going to do it at a live, like almost Jimmy Kimmel in an auditorium, and talk to people. It's going to be very fun. So you can go register. Tickets are free, but if people want to register, they can find all that at firstpersonarts.org event. See how cool I am at this? I'm getting so good at this. But yeah.
Boom.
Boom.
That's information. You're getting information out, just like the town crier.
That's how it is with the town crier. I love that so much. We should do a sketch or something like that. That'd be hilarious.
Oh yeah, send that. I'll make a note. I like it.
All right. But Martha, thank you so much for your time. Have a good rest of your day. And and we'll talk to you soon. And check out our book.
Thanks, Chai.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, so that was our live for today. I want to thank Martha again. Check out her episode on WHYY. 1 second here. And and just check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast, Philadelphia Revealed. Believe we still have 2 more episodes left in the season, so you guys are gonna love that. And and let me see any comments here before we leave. No, and Ben, who works here at FPA, said that he used to be a newspaper boy but there was no throwing allowed. I still picture you wearing like the little Kango hat, which I think that's adorable. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for joining on this live. You know, we're live every Wednesday to check out, you know, what we're up to, what shows we have coming up and everything. Always go to firstpersonarts.org. And yeah, stay in touch with us. Leave any comments, any questions you might have about storytelling. We'll try to answer it for you on the next live. Have a good rest of your day. Talk to you soon. Bye. My story is art. Wait, no, my life is art. I said that wrong, but you know, my life is art. Bye.